Hello, we're at the ARC Forum, and we're going to be speaking with Kevin Price, VP, Hexagon ALI. Kevin,
Hey,
nice to be here with you.
great to be here. Anytime we can be in Florida and at this event, it's a good time.
Could you do a little introduction about yourself and Hexagon ALI?
Absolutely. So I've been working with the enterprise application that we have here called Asset Management, or EAM, for a little over 25 years. I've launched a little over 80% of it from an idea on a whiteboard. So I've been through the years and seen quite a bit. You and I have had a relationship for quite some time and seen it to each other. When we moved over here to Hexagon just a year ago, I went into the portfolio strategy and enablement group. And the reason for that is because they have a strategy to put EAM in everything they do. And some of it can be done immediately, some long-term and some midterm. So as we think about how we roll it in architecturally, how we roll it in culturally, or how we go into market together, there's a lot of steps that have to be made. And it's better to plan those out than it is just to react.
True. Good strategy is very important.
Every day of the week.
Build on success.
That's right.
EAM has been around for decades. You know better than I do. But it's still very dynamic with the new technologies and stuff like that coming along. And I know with you're joining Hexagon, that might be initiate a lot of changes. Could you talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that you have going forward to improve the product and the value proposition for your customers?
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about that history, because it's important to know the first line of code for the Hexagon EAM solution started in 1986. And we actually have a customer that's still using it from 1987 who you've met in CERN. So we have some of those old customers that are still around, and they're driving new innovation for us every day. When we were acquired here at Hexagon, it was interesting because what they wanted to do was take us, as I mentioned earlier, in a new innovative way. As an example, what we had been doing was return to reliability. We were evolving the application from enterprise asset management to asset performance management. But we would reach these stumbling blocks, these obstacles of what we could do. We looked at Hexagon, and they have a concept called smart digital reality. So it's not just digital twin, but it's a little bit more. And what I mean by a little bit more is EAM gets a chance to be a metadata component to that smart digital reality. So when you think about looking at your facility, you're looking at a digital image of your facility, they have applications that drew that wrote that able to manage that. What they didn't know in specific is about the health of the asset. Who touched it? When did they touch it? Why did they touch it? What are the things that are coming up for it? If it broke, when it was monitored, these are things that we do. So when we get a chance to think about what we can do in the smart digital reality, we provide all that metadata that they couldn't before. So it really makes it unique for a lot of industries that are complex, that have a lot of different layers to them. For us, it completes the picture of something we've always wanted to do, but we couldn't get after. And that's just one technology. There's a ton of other technologies that are there. And it's exciting for us because here at Hexagon, we have industrial grade, engineering grade solutions. Whereas before, it was a lot of ERP and a lot of integrations and things like that. So we're excited to get the chance to really stretch our legs.
Wow. It just amazes me how dynamic the EAM space is right now. And you're certainly leading the charge. Another topic that comes up here at the forum a lot is sustainability and ESG. Could you map some of that into what you're doing with the product line?
That's a good question, and it actually relates back to the smart digital reality as well. So when we think about sustainability, one of the things we think about is how our assets consume water, air, gas, electrics, and steam. And typically that's the scope 1 emissions. We also have scope 2 that we go through. We do fugitive emissions. We capture all that kind of information. And as we think about when you're using your asset, one of the highest cost factors you have is on the energy components. So you're always monitoring it. You're always looking at it. We've been doing this actually since 2004. But what's interesting now is there's a resurgence of it. Not just the savings, not just the conditions of operating in a safer world, a safer environment, but the socioeconomic factors are starting to be even bigger. People want to make sure that they have that tag to their environment as it applies to their brand. They want to make sure that they're being responsible and they're actually publishing it and going it through. Seeing that resurgence also has an underlying effect of how people manage their assets. So it makes us really excited. When we put this to the smart digital reality, it's another metadata set. So if you look at a digital twin of the facility, or you look at that smart digital reality, as we call it, we can see thematically across the whole industrial facility where we're losing energy, or we're losing, because there may be something wrong in how the electric is fed. It may be wrong in terms of some type of leak, if it's an air conditioning system, as an example. There could be things that we could see visually that we couldn't before, because we simply didn't have the tools. We didn't have the technique. We certainly didn't have the skill. So as we think about the resurgence of sustainability, we're excited, but we're also excited because it coincides with our innovations that we're going to be doing in the next few years.
Wow. That's a lot of information to put inside a EAM system, but I can see where it benefits the company. Another real big pain point among our clients, particularly those in the process industries, is this unplanned downtime. When the equipment isn't running, you can't make product, and that affects revenue, which gets executive attention pretty quick.
Every time. You bet.
So can you talk a little bit about what you're doing for reliability and preventing unplanned downtime?
That's a good one. And this talks to the evolution that we were undergoing before acquisition, and we're continuing, but that's the return to reliability measures. When we looked at some of the reliability focused areas that we had of RCM way back when, and RCM2, and some of the things around PAS 55 and ISO 55000, we were bringing in statistical methods into the actual product. So we're doing Weibull, Laplace, FMICA, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And we're getting more and more to risk-based inspections. So when we think about that type of work and we think about how that applies to unplanned downtime, it's because we can do more predictive measures to know when that asset's going to fail before it does. In the process industries especially, it can be extremely expensive and it has a lot of waste that's involved with it. There's a lot of violations, there's fines that you have to deal with, so you're right. It turns the head of every single one in the business, and it should, for many reasons. Lost profit, lost production, impending danger. There could be fires and explosions that are associated with it. So for us, it's an opportunity for us to be able to understand the asset condition better, to visualize it again with a smart digital reality flare, and to be able to predict when that asset's going to fail. Because wouldn't you want to know that that asset's going to fail at a certain time and has a high probability to beforehand, and get you into what we call prescriptive maintenance, to prescribe to you what to do, how to do, and who to do it. That way you can be able to avoid the unplanned completely. It's not always going to be 100%, but we're getting there as much as we can. It's another return to some of the basics that we used to do a long time ago.
Neat. So we're really short on time, but could you just do a little bit on AR and VR, which is a hot topic here too?
AR and VR, so augmented reality and virtual reality. When we look at this particular space that we're in around enterprise asset management, we see a lot more of AR. Than we do of VR. And the reason for that is because we want to provide that visualization of that content as that employee is doing their work and as that technician's doing their work. But we do have customers that have to do VR. An example would be CERN. I don't know if you knew or not, but when the Hadron Accelerator runs, sometimes it gets radiated, and it takes a couple of years to fill that out. They cannot go down there to do any work. So they actually have to operate in a complete virtual environment. So this is where the smart digital reality really comes and shines, because I can overlay to that person, to that technician, to that contractor, to the operator, the augmented reality portion of that and where thematic issues are occurring. Or I can provide a virtual environment. That may be a contractor that is another country away, to be able to get involved into it. The smart digital reality lends itself to that opportunity, and it lends itself to a natural momentum of development. So as we start to go through, not only going to see the things we've always led in, mobility, scheduling, reliability, all that kind of stuff, but you're going to see a lot more visualization in the smart digital reality.
Wow, really neat to learn about how EAM is moving forward, adopting new technologies, and providing much greater value to your customers.
You bet.
We've been talking with Kevin Price, VP at Hexagon ALI. Thank you for watching.